Our next guest is Dylan.
Thank you, Andrew. Now, today I'm going to be teaching you guys about central idea. And central idea is probably the most important thing when you're writing a speech or writing a speech outline. Because central idea is basically all the main ideas put into one sentence, and it's broad enough to understand, so then everybody in the audience understands basically what you're going to talk about during that speech. You have direct and specific language, which would spread out into 4 different branches of languages. You have the qualified language, which will basically say professional. Then you have direct language, which is direct. You're going to a certain point of what you're trying to get across. Then you have vague language, which nobody really wants. Vague is too broad of something, and some people may not understand what vague. So say, I like television. Well, what type of television do you like? Because you're not going to like every single channel. You want to be specific, and that leads on to the next one, which is specific. You want to have a descriptive point of what you're trying to get across. And then central idea is a single idea, but with 4 vague ideas inside it. And it's only one sentence. Developing your central idea, you're gonna, it's just basically a thesis statement, and you usually look at your central idea when you're writing your speech outline, and then when you talk to your speech, that's usually what you're first going to bring up. You want to make your central idea good enough so then you attract the audience's attention. And then the declarative sentence, which is basically your central idea. You don't want to make it a phrase. You want to make it a complete sentence. You don't want a question or a clause, because you're not going to say, what color is the sky, as your central idea. You want to have a specific sentence. And now I'm going to bring up Shirley.
When you generate and preview your main idea, you can use your logical division to divide your central idea into a main ideas. By that, you can gather supporting detail around 2 ideas, which create more dense, more organized, and consist your speech. B. Establish the reason. In the event, you cannot create a clear logical division. You should establish the reason behind their main idea. These reasons are usually complete sentences, subdivision of the main idea, and they are easy to develop. Now, let's introduce Daniel. Daniel?
Yeah! Okay, I will be presenting the 3rd step, which is tracing specific steps, but I will be doing it with an example. So let's say I'm getting my master's in aerospace engineering, and my professor asked me to write an essay about NASA's space shuttle program. So first I have to think of a central idea, I think, and I come up with an idea of NASA's space shuttle program resulted in both great achievements and tragic failures. So then I have to think of how am I going to organize this. I go through the first steps. Can I make logical divisions? And I look through it, and I can't really come up with any key phrases that can split it up into logical divisions. So then I go to the next step, and I see if I can come up with any reasons. And so I look at my central idea, and I ask why. And by asking why, I may come up with a plan to formulate my essay, but it doesn't really help with my purpose. My purpose is really for the audience to be able to trace the history of the space shuttle program. So then I would go to the 3rd step, which would be, can it be supported with steps or in chronological order? Really, any historical event can be broken down into chronological order, in dates, time, where it began, what happened in the middle, and then what it is now, or how it ended. So by doing it in chronological order, I would put it in important spatial events, like how it began and all that. Basically, your main central idea has to match up with your purpose. If it doesn't, you have to make them match up, changing each one. So basically, that's the end of chapter 6, and thanks to Shirley, Narita, Andres, Dylan, Harrison, and myself. I hope you learned a lot, and thank you for your time.